All right, today we're going to talk about something that really shakes up the old way of doing business. We're going to tear down this idea that the only thing that matters is the bottom line. We'll be diving into a powerful microeconomic framework called the triple bottom line, and we'll see how the smartest managers out there are already using it to build businesses that are not just profitable, but truly sustainable.
So let's just cut right to the chase with the one question that every leader should be asking themselves. Is the profit-only model, the one that's basically been the blueprint for 100 years, is it obsolete? We're going to make the case today that in our modern world, ignoring your social and environmental impact isn't just bad PR. It's just plain bad business. It's a strategic mistake that can and will cost you.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at this big shift away from that old profit-first model. Then, we'll introduce the 3 Ps framework. This is the heart of the triple bottom line. After that, we're going to deconstruct each P through a microeconomic lens, see how it works in a real world with a case study. And then, we're going to wrap it all up with the single most important lesson for any manager trying to build a business that lasts.
Okay, first things first. Let's be crystal clear about something. This is not about sacrificing profit to go hug a tree. The whole point of this framework is to change how we think about a healthy profit. It's about building a business that doesn't just make money this quarter, but is built to be resilient and sustainable for years to come.
And this right here is the critical takeaway. Making this shift isn't just a nice to have. It's not about ticking a box for corporate social responsibility. It is a strategic necessity. A business that ignores this is basically building on a foundation of sand, just waiting for a wave of new regulations or consumer backlash to wash it all away. So, let's look at the framework that gives us a much more solid footing.
So, how do we actually put this into practice? Well, the core framework is called the triple bottom line. Now, I want you to think of it less like a strict accounting rule and more like a new set of glasses. It's a strategic lens that forces a manager to measure their company's performance on a much more complete and, frankly, realistic set of criteria. The whole framework is built on 3 pillars, famously known as the 3 Ps: people, planet, and profit. Now, the idea itself is simple but kind of revolutionary. You can't measure a company's real success by just looking at its financial statements. You have to evaluate it on its social and its environmental impact too. So let's break down what each of these really means from a manager's point of view.
Okay, this is where we get to the good stuff. We're going to lift the hood on each of these pillars and find the specific microeconomic principle that makes it tick. This is where these big ideas connect directly to your actual bottom line.
Let's start with profit. Because let's be real, without it, the other 2 are just nice ideas. In microeconomics, this is all about producer surplus. It's pretty simple. If it costs you $10 to make a product and you can sell it for $15, that $5 difference is your surplus. That's the lifeblood of the company. It's what pays your people, funds your R&D, and gives you the ability to even think about your social and environmental goals. It is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation.
Next up, people. In economic terms, this is all about managing what we call externalities. Basically, the ripple effects your business has on society. As a manager, your job is to take these just as seriously as you take your supply costs. You want to maximize the good ones, the positive externalities, right? Think of a company that creates jobs or offers training to the local community, but you have to minimize the negative ones, like a factory creating pollution that society then has to pay to clean up. The triple bottom line forces you to bring these off-the-books items into your core strategy.
And finally, we have planet. The core concept here is something called carrying capacity. It's the maximum stress an ecosystem can take before it just collapses. And the source material for this explainer puts it in the bluntest business terms I've ever heard. Talking about a tourist resort that relies on a beautiful coral reef, it says, if we destroy the reef, we destroy the product. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't environmentalism, it is pure asset management. A manager who ignores the carrying capacity of a key resource is literally eating their own long-term revenue stream.
So these principles sound great in a lecture hall, but what do they actually look like on the ground? How does a manager really do this? Well, let's look at a case study of a business that built these ideas right into its DNA from day one, using a really powerful strategy called eco-design.
We're looking at a tourism development in a place called Tanjung Lesung. Now, the old playbook would be to just build a massive concrete resort, deal with the environmental damage later, and just write it off as the cost of doing business. But this project, they did the exact opposite. They used the triple bottom line as a blueprint to proactively design a sustainable business right from the get-go.
And this table just lays it out perfectly. Look at infrastructure. Using solar power and local bamboo isn't just some nice gesture for the planet pillar.
It's a direct boost to the profit pillar because it slashes their future energy bills. Now look at the activities. This shift from jet skis to educational reef monitoring, that's just strategic genius. Jet skis actively destroy the asset, the reef. That's ignoring carrying capacity. But reef monitoring, it preserves and even enhances the asset, which makes the product more valuable over time. They literally turned a potential liability into a core strategic advantage.
So let's bring this all back home. Why should you, as a manager, go through all this trouble? What is the real, bottom-line strategic payoff of taking this proactive eco-design approach?
And here it is. This is the whole ballgame. This isn't about spending more money to be green. It's about saving money by avoiding future headaches. Think of it like this. Proactive eco-design is a form of insurance. By dealing with your negative impacts now, you are shielding your business from the carbon taxes, the strict regulations, and the customer anger that is absolutely going to hit your unprepared competitors later on. It's just smart, preemptive risk management.
So the choice for a modern manager becomes incredibly clear, right? On one path, you have proactive design. This road leads to lower costs down the line, a much stronger brand, and a protected core asset. On the other path, you have the old model, which honestly now looks incredibly risky. It's a path that is basically inviting future taxes and regulations, and, as we saw with the reef, it can literally destroy the very thing your business is built on.
So we'll leave you with this one question to take back with you. Your key asset might not be a coral reef. Your carrying capacity could be the trust of your customers, which you burn through with every mistake. It could be the talent of your amazing employees who get burned out by a toxic culture. I want you to look at your business and ask, what is the critical resource we are using every single day, and are we strengthening it for the long haul, or are we slowly, and maybe silently, destroying our own product?